Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video.
Well, I'm back out here at Giga Texas. It started off probably one of the interesting conditions that you see out here because of the temperature and the dew point with a lot of the moisture. So we got a lot of clouds coming up out of Cortex 1's cooling plant, and it kind of blanketed most of the east side for a while, which is really cool. Now, I did fly a lot of the site today, and we're going to see a lot of the developments that has to do with the construction all over the area. And one of the areas that is always of interest right now is, of course, Cortex 2, where we're seeing more of the Megapacks being delivered and being prepared to be installed on the west side. They're now up to 100 Megapacks, and it looks like that's just the beginning. So we could be well on the way to 200 of them just for Cortex 2, which will be amazing to watch. Also, the chiller plant for the Cortex 2 is making a lot of progress, especially part 1. All 4 of the fans are now installed, and they're continuing to work on a lot of the other parts of that structure. Now, rather than talk a lot about it in the intro, since I do have so much of the drone video, why don't we just go ahead and get into the drone, fly around, and we'll talk during the flight and just sort of see all of the things that are going on here today. There is a lot. It is great to see, and as always, thank you very much for watching. So let's go flying.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, what a wonderful morning to start off flying. It is a little bit cool, and with a high humidity levels, we're getting all of these vaporous clouds coming off of the factory, especially cooling unit for Cortex 1. But this is a great view from the south looking to the north across much of the site. And we're going to take a look here at some of the activity that's going on the east side of the construction site, starting next to this intersection here with Cyber Circle and River Road, right next to the cooling plant. We see some more of that excavation work, some more markers around the south side of River Road as well, and some auger drills in this section on the ground. Now, this may be related to some of the additional work that we see going along this extension of River Road next to the tree levels and the old pond, and looks like they're doing excavation work for the steel corrugated pipes for more of the drainage along this section. It also has this look that River Road is going to be two-lane roads with a median in between once it's extended through this section. But this is a great view of this trench work, the steel corrugated pipes on the right, some of the green pipes that are being laid out here. They're also being stored on the left-hand side of the screen next to this intersection between Robotic Avenue and what will be a River Road as well. As I kind of maneuver through the clouds coming off the cooling plant, I'll show you the excavation work, the grade work, and the preparation for extending River Road all along the tree lines to the right and through the section you see in the upper right all the way over towards the structures at the top of the screen, which is the battery cathode plant. So this is going to be really adding a lot of roadway and access through this southeast part of the site. So I'll kind of pull away and give you a view back towards the factory of what all this area looks like, where we came from, and then we'll get a little bit closer in and see some more of the details closer to the factory. Some nice view of the corrugated pipes and drainage for this drainage ditch around the material staging yard that we see here Also, more of those crates with the blue covers on the left, other materials, pipes, and some more fabricated pipe segments on the bottom that we're just passing over. It's going to be used, I think, in the south side of the factory, maybe also Cortex 2. Here's a look at this east testing lot with many of the Model Ys. There are some Model 3s here. Also, we can also tell that there's different colors. I don't know if this is related to when the standard models were unveiled, showing that there may be different colors, or if this is just a mix of standards and premiums. But some people ask, why are the Model 3 here? And that's because they use this area as a transit hub. It's not meaning that they're building Model 3s at Giga Texas. This is a nice shot of materials next to the secondary main entrance that are still being moved in for the production lines. And as I pan along the east side, great kind of sense of what is going on here. Many of the trailers at the receiving doors as part of that warehouse on wheels concept. This large loading platform. No cranes, so it doesn't look like there's much being brought into there right now, although we do see those four cooling trailers that are similar to what we'll see on the east side of Cortex 2. This nice view of this loading platform and crane, the two large pipes or tanks, and next to that, the exit point where I think the Cybercabs are going to be exiting the factory. As we get closer to the stamping section of the building, I'm going to pull away momentarily to show you what's going on with the staged materials in this section next to the south part of the parking garage. See concrete segments, we see pipe segments. Some of them have those kind of lighter color green at the bottom with the bands on them. We've seen those being used through tunnel boring machine lined tunnels through the caisson, so maybe there's some additional of that work going to be happening soon. We see materials being delivered, a accordion trailer getting ready to unload, a large coil of steel being unloaded in the middle trailer, and also the gantry crane has been moved away, although there's still some of these wooden boxes and crates on the ground. And we're going to see where that gantry crane has been taken over to the west side here momentarily. But because of the cold and the humidity conditions, you can tell that the cooling plant is really putting off a lot of clouds today. And maybe that means that they're really doing a lot of work with full self-driving training. I don't know. But it looks like 5 of the 6 fan units are in operation. I've had a viewer ask me to get a closer look at this excavation. This is what it looks like here. Manhole cover. There is a trench box. And this may be just showing some more connections of the piping system to the already existing systems in this part of the site. Here's a great view of the cooling plant with the 5 of 6 fan units producing those huge billowing clouds. And as I maneuver around the southeast side of the factory, I'll bring the drone down lower. We'll fly over the cyber pond, and kind of a rare view now of the south side of the factory. And what this looks like here today. Probably another month, all of this brown grass is going to start turning green, and we're going to get back into spring. But for now, it's still a little bit of winter. Now, I also want to show you the southwest corner of the factory, these door openings. My previous video, one of my Patreons and viewers pointed out that the doors have now been installed. One of them has been closed. It's a smaller receiving door. The larger one, the door is still open. And that's something that I've been wanting to find out what they were going to do for quite a long time. My last video, we saw for the first time that one of those doors had actually been shut, like we saw today. Next to the fork in the road statue and on the south side of River Road, I wanted to show you what this caisson looks like. It's been filled in almost all the way to the top, and they're breaking around that ring at the top. We've seen that in other parts of the caisson installations before, including this section here, where additional work continues in this large excavation next to the caisson. You can see the broken out walls on the left with the manhole cover, and as I zoom in, you can get a good sense of how much they're filling in this excavation now around that concrete vault, and a look down in where the concrete pipes and other items have been installed here. Looks like they have one of those green pipes kind of sticking up vertically, and they'll be removing pretty soon those spreader bars and the sheet piles. We also see some of the trench boxes here on the ground being stored as they're no longer needed on the kind of left-hand side of the screen next to all this dirt, and just some of the equipment as well. So I'm going to bring the drone up, turn towards the west side, kind of a good view overall of what's going on with the west support facility, with the outbound lot and the west warehouse on wheels. And as I kind of point the drone to the far southwest over the Colorado River, I wanted to just get a brief look at the continuing work that is being done here for water management, and also for expanding this section with more apartments and businesses. This is related to the work with the caissons that we saw on the Giga Texas side of the river. And this work continues. You can also see where a roadway is being prepared to extend over towards all of those apartments, and plenty more apartments being built. So all of this is in response to the growing impact of Giga Texas. I notice here back on the Giga Texas side, that large contractor parking lot is empty. We'll take a closer look at that, and a nice view of downtown Austin in the distance. Here's the West Warehouse on wheels, and of course the outbound lot, the roadway connecting up to the end-of-line facility, and this dark patch of dirt is where another one of those large caissons was constructed. Now it's pretty much all underneath the ground, and just a manhole cover is visible. As I zoom back out, a nice view across the highway back to the main factory, again with all those billowing clouds coming off the roof and the cooling unit. And I'll kind of maneuver down around here and just show you where the manhole cover is in the dirt patch. And underneath that is all the caissons that are well underneath the ground. And now you can't even tell that it's there, only because of the construction videos that I've shown you, that anybody would really know. As I get ready to go over the power lines, I wanted to take a closer look at what's going on in this staging yard and also that contractor parking lot, because it looks like it's definitely being cleared out on that west side. And maybe we'll see some additional construction coming on. But as I maneuver around the power lines, some of the pipes and concrete items on the left, wanted to show you a closer view of these materials that are being staged. Some of them are construction materials. Some of them are aeration units that are for ponds. You can see that in the right center of the screen, just by the power pole. We also see some production line equipment in the red here and white, and some other items in this fenced off section. As I fly over the concrete vault section, parts and materials, we see there's a yard truck loading up. We'll pass over the dump truck, and this entire section is all cleared out now. Just this one area with the fence and that container. The contractor parking lot is quite empty. I have not seen it this empty in a very long time. There's a couple of the shuttle buses parked on the left, and this is the main gate where they are checked for their credentials before loading up onto the shuttle buses normally. But as you can tell, it's pretty empty, and we can see all the way back to the main factory. Now, while I am here, also wanted to show you just a update on this large clearing. Mostly it's being used to store that gray material, which is sort of the slurry remains from the tunneling, but also where they're excavating more dirt, and much of this is being used to either store some at the bottom in the silt fence rectangular section we saw, or moved over to the east side, that large clearing that we saw at the beginning of the video. Instead of going over the power lines, I'm going to zoom in here, show you what's going on with the supercharger workshop. See the V4s on the upper left, some older V3s, the red ones at the bottom of the screen, and more materials and parts on this right center part of the screen for more of the superchargers, and that round roof workshop that is producing all of those, or assembling them all. In this fenced off section here with the red, white, and blue items, this is part of the 4680 cell portion of the factory, and more production line equipment, a lot of cabinets on the right, and some more items. And I'm wondering if this may be related to the financial results meeting, where in that meeting and also afterwards, we've heard that the dry cathode method for both the anode and the cathode is fully being used now for battery manufacturing. That solves a big long time problem, and perhaps that the equipment that we just passed over is going to be fitted into the factory now that they've got that process under control. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. While we're here, I wanted to show you, it looks like they're starting to load up at least one of the transformers that has been stored here. You can see plenty more are here waiting to be moved, and in the past we've seen them moving off site, so I'll continue to watch that and see what happens. This is that clearing that we saw all of the tree debris being mulched. Now they're doing some more of the grade work, and also preparing for the roadway on the upper left to extend down through here. There's a lot of markers on the ground, so it indicates we'll probably see some sort of construction. I'll fly over the outbound lot briefly. You can tell that there's some transport trucks operational already. And also it's early on a Monday, so they are just starting up production at the time that I flew the drone. I did notice that there's some maintenance that is going on here near the Cyber tunnel, and I thought I would give you a closer look at what that appears like here today. I'm going to fly around the outbound lot, and we'll get up to the north end of the building, and we'll see what that looks like with the direct delivery center, and also some of the early vehicles arriving for processing. The test track on the left is being used today. We see some Model Y standards being lined up here on this roadway next to the building. The wash rack is being used for a vehicle today. It's that green structure on the bottom left, and more of the vehicles are being lined up here for direct delivery, including a Cybertruck. So somebody's going to be getting their new vehicle here today at the direct delivery center. Also notice that there is some deliveries being done here via this truck and this front end loader. The track for the small Cybertrucks is still in place next to the letters Tesla, where the direct delivery center is, and also more of the vehicles arriving in these lanes, newly produced and getting ready for that final processing. So we'll get ready to cross over the highway when we resume on the other side. Some new excavation work with the trench box on the left-hand side of the screen on the berm, and exiting the factory is a Model Y standard right now. I noticed that several Model Y standards were exiting, so this, at least for the beginning of the work week, looks like that is what they are producing. They do tend to do premiums on certain days, performances on certain days, and standards on other days, and it may not be a complete day, it may be part of a day, but they tend to group those together in the production line. As we pass the receiving door and the crane on the right hand side of the screen, I'm going to put up a recent post on X, and this goes back to the talking of the dry cathode manufacturing for both the anode and the cathode, and this is going to cut cost, energy use, and factory complexity. Also increases dramatically the scalability that relates to all of that equipment that I was talking about on that far west side. In addition to that, we're going to see on the north end here of the 4680 that some more building materials are being prepared to be moved in. So that all kind of comes together and is a great sign when we think about battery manufacturing, scalability, costs. It may also help with some of the energy density as well. So it's a major accomplishment for Tesla, and something we'll keep an eye on here, especially as Cybercab production ramps up. Here's a lot of those new materials that are being prepared to be moved into the 4680 cell part of the factory, And we also have a crane on site to be lifting other items up into the factory at different levels. So great sign that that is underway. Now on next to the plastics here, saw all these rack mounts, these plastic bumpers. At first in the drone, I thought these might be for the Cybercab, but as I look closer, these are the under parts of the rear and front bumpers for Model Ys. You'll see some others in the bin at the bottom of the screen. They're unpainted and just raw plastic, so that's why they are black. And again, as I was making the video or flying the drone, I thought, hey, maybe I see some Cybercab parts, but no, this is all Model Ys, and you can see more of that in the bin at the right and in the recycle bins. But nevertheless, this is part of the factory that will be making a lot of the plastic parts for Cybercab, so that's why I keep looking at this part of the site. I'm going to fly around here on the north end. As I pan to the left, you'll see more workers next to the sidewalk and maybe doing some landscaping. This is after the new pavement on the trenching for the pipe installation has been completed. So I'm going to fly over these racks with the Cybertruck castings. Face the east side of casting machine section where we see a lot more of the racks and Cybertruck castings here. And as we get closer to the melt center, which is on the right hand side of the screen, we're going to start seeing some empty racks for castings, and then past that we're going to start seeing a Cybercab castings, and I'll show you that here momentarily. The two melt center furnace loading systems are waiting for some of the scrap material in the middle of the screen to be put in there for melting down. This is a grouping of front underbody castings for the Cybercab and some other items wrapped in silver, which look like bins of some sort, but hard to tell for sure. As we get next to the plant here, I'll show you that they have the front and rear subframe castings for the Cybercab, and a lot more of the racks with Model Y castings. Now I'm going to come up over the baghouse filtration plant itself and fly to the south slightly. I'm going to try to maneuver the drone to look back down on the ground because there's a very interesting part of a Cybercab coming into view on the left-hand side of the screen. As I turn the drone, I will kind of bring the drone down, zoom in. This is a completed rear sub-assembly for the Cybercab. This is the passenger kind of rear firewall that you see. The rest of the structure is behind it. That would be the hatch for the Cybercab. And this is one of the four major structural elements that would be built, fitted out, and then assembled for the unbox process for the Cybercab. As I kind of maneuver the drone back towards the building, I'll show you some more parts here next to the wall. Many of these are Model Y castings in the racks, but we also see some other assembly equipment, plus more items in that silver wrap. Crates for Cybercab materials, and also those kind of black rounded items, which are bases for large robotic assemblers. So I'm going to maneuver on the east side, and we'll get our way over towards the electrical switch yard and the Cortex 2 facility where there is a lot of activity. In this staging yard, we see some pipes, materials for the chiller units, and on the left, more of the fan enclosures for two more of the fans. So that's probably for the other two sections of part one of the chiller plant. They're just here waiting for the structure to be constructed first before they can be added in. The other four are now in place, and we'll see that here momentarily. More of the cable being prepared to be pulled through conduits, also connecting into the new electrical switch yard. Here's a great view over the three control trailers and to the blast wall that's being poured with concrete today, at least the base. and then 2 of the eventual 3 large transformers that are here on this extension. The second one is continuing to have its equipment assembled on, and once it is completed, it will look much like the one on the left, and the third one on that concrete slab will look like the other 2 as well. Now, there is a very interesting development that I want to show you, and I'm tracking very closely, and that is the expansion has doubled the size of the original switchyard, but this very large dirt patch at the bottom of the screen has crews building more of the rebar cages, and these large tubes are part of the pile drilling operation. You can even see some of the auger drill bits there and some treads for some equipment. But this indicates that we're going to see even more piles being installed, probably in this dirt section. And from the zoom out, it almost looks like they may be adding even more of the electrical switchyard and making it larger. I don't have any permit information on that yet, but yeah, this is definitely interesting with all of that being prepared for more drilling of what kind of construction they're going to be doing. I'm going to maneuver over towards Cortex 2. We're on the north side looking to the south. As you can tell, a lot of activity on both sides, the east and west. First, we'll start here briefly on the east and the north section. See a lot of trenching, a lot of water pipes, the concrete manifolds and manhole covers being added, and some more vault items here next to some of this steel construction equipment. There are more deliveries being done constantly here on the north end now. You can see this in the trailer. They're pulled out and then moved into that large receiving door. I think this is all interior electrical components, equipment, cabinetry, and maybe even starting to see some of the items set out for the GPU cluster, the data center computer systems as well. We also see more of the kind of the risers for conduit here along this part of the wall. It's being prepared for more of the screw type piers, some of which have been installed at the bottom left of the screen, and more of them are laid on the ground for installation. You can see what that looks like on the left here at the nearest to the camera at the bottom left. Also the platforms with more of the electronic equipment and the transformers installed, and also where all of the Megapacks are being installed. Currently, 64 of them are installed in their permanent locations, and there's another 36 that have been delivered nearby, and those will be eventually maneuvered and installed. Even with all 100 of these installed, there's room for perhaps another 100, and perhaps that will make it to a 200 Megapack site. If that's the case, plus the other 140 that are here for the Megapack 1 and 2, that would put it at over 300 Megapacks at Giga Texas, which is making it a very substantial electrical backup and battery electric system site. As I pan back around, you can see this large clearing in the middle of the screen. I'm also watching that. I know it's for parking for the moment, but it's already graded, and maybe we'll see some additional work being done there. So I'm going to maneuver on the south side of Cortex 2, show you some of the earthwork that's underway, some of the trenching, some deliveries, forms on the bottom right, and then here where we have 6 of those trailered cooling units, similar to the 4 we saw at the side of the factory. And then here's a great view of the 3 manifolds on this side between the factory and the chilling unit. That does indicate that these other 2 square slab sections will have the fan units on top. That goes with the 2 fan unit enclosure materials that are stored over by the Megapacks that I showed you earlier. And eventually this will have 6 of the fan units, the fan enclosures, and great view of the fans on the top, by the way. So that will be one part of the entire chilling system. We see graded work here with smooth off topsoil and some white plastic being placed. I think they're going to be doing some asphalt in that section pretty soon. I pulled away to the alley between the die shop on the left and battery cathode on the right, just to show you what the chiller plant here looks like. The plastic walls are just to protect it from the cold for the winter, and those are just temporary. See the outdoor furnace on the left under that cover for the die shop. Here's a closer view of the plastic being laid down on this graded section. And here is part 2 of the chiller unit, kind of a mirror of the one that we saw with all the fans. still under construction. The large crane has been moved away, which is an interesting data point, but their main work is being the rebar being placed at the base of the wall. We see it's been poured on the right-hand side next to that perimeter wall. And there's work next to the bunkers on the left where more of the rebar cages are going to be placed and then pouring concrete. The north side is open, and that's very interesting to watch because this excavation on the bottom left mirrors what we've saw with the other two parts. So we might say a third part for that cooling system. So another thing I'll keep in watch. I'm going to fly up over these linear hills and valleys from what remains of the old sand and gravel mine to this section where we see a lot of the debris broken up from concrete segments that are from about 3 or 4 years worth of construction here at Giga Texas. This operation from Lippman is being put together to crush all of the concrete, and then they'll have these conveyor systems to put them into trucks and then use the crushed aggregate elsewhere. Here's a great view of what this is looking like. It does not look like it's operational quite yet, but they've got almost everything set up. So we should start seeing operation with clearing out all of this concrete debris very soon. As we fly back towards the cathode plant, we'll go over some of the materials that are being stored here. Good view of the complex of structures that we just visited and how this is all changing. More of the transformers on the ground here that will be installed on the west side of Cortex 2. That'll also allow for more of those Megapacks to arrive. And another view here of some of the earthwork that's being done on this side of the site between that filtration pond and the tree line here. So I'm still not sure what they're doing here, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. I'm going to kind of turn the drone here. We'll see the large pile of dirt at the bottom of the screen that continues to grow. Next to that is this old maintenance facility for the concrete trucks. And it's still having work done to what I believe is to decommission this and then to remove it from the site for more construction later on. But here's a close-in view of what this looks like right now. Also, while I'm here, I'll fly up over the concrete trucks, past some of the materials on the left-hand side of the screen and show you the work that's being done at the south end of the crash test facility. This is what it appears like today. There's a small bobcat clearing out some of the section. We see some pipes being installed, a vault, and some other work, including a little bit of forms, but I think all that will be replaced once they get the main excavation work here completed. So I'll bring the drone up to a much higher altitude. We'll point back towards the main factory, looking across the east side and reviewing much of the site that we were able to see today. There is a lot of construction going on here, and it's only going to increase through 2026, especially with the announcement of $20 billion more of CapEx, much of which is going to be here at Giga Texas. I hope you found this helpful, and thank you very much. Take care.